Unit conversions are one of those things that can be confusing, but like many of the things that can be confusing in physics, if you just remember that you work with the definitions of the quantities and the properties of the math that you use, and you can't go wrong. This question says, what's the velocity in meters per second of a some aircraft that goes 8.864 kilometers in the southerly direction in 0.297 minutes? And so you notice one thing, whoever wrote this problem was a little imprecise, because really what they're asking for is the average velocity, not the instantaneous velocity, because they're giving you the total distance traveled and the total time. So you go say, well, what is the definition of the average velocity? The definition of the average velocity is the displacement divided by the time, which in this case is 8.864 kilometers divided by 0.297 minutes in the southerly direction. And those numbers work out to 29.8 kilometers per minute. Notice first that this is a perfectly reasonable physical quantity. It's got units of distance over time, so there's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't have the units that someone wants to use. The other thing you notice is that this is only expressed in 3 significant digits, and that's because in the original calculation, the least significant digit number was only expressed in 3 significant digits. So we only have 3 significant digits that we need to work with. So our problem is we need to convert kilometers to meters and minutes to seconds in this quantity. So we know we're going to want to divide by we're going to multiply times something that has kilometers in the bottom and minutes in the top. Well, what do we multiply? Well, we use the algebraic property that a number multiplied by 1 has its value unchanged. So this is the definition we use, and this is the property that we're going to use. So we want numbers that multiply this, that fiddle with the units, that have equal 1, don't change the value, but do things to the units. So we express the equivalence between meters and kilometers. 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. Divide both sides of this by 1 kilometer, and we get 1,000 meters divided by 1 kilometer is equal to 1. Similarly, for the seconds, we express 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. Divide both of these sides of the equation by 60 seconds, and we get 1 minute divided by 60 seconds is equal to 1. Now we know that we can multiply these quantities here times anything that we want, and it's not going to change the value. And we're going to want to do it to this, because it's going to change the units to be what we want. So we multiply this quantity, 29.8 kilometers per minute, by the 2 factors of 1 that we got here from doing the unit equivalences. This is what it looks like. 29.8 kilometers per minute times 2 factors of 1 doesn't change the value. The first factor of 1 we use is 1,000 minutes per 1 kilometer. 1 minute per 60 seconds is the other one. We group the numbers together here, group the units together here, and we notice that as we wanted, the minutes are going to cancel out, the kilometers are going to cancel out and just leave meters per second. The numbers are going to boil down to this ratio here, which when we calculate it, we get 497, again, 3 significant digits, meters per second. And to be absolutely correct, even though it didn't make any difference since this was all in one direction, we put in the direction to make sure that we get full credit on the problem. And this is all there is to converting units. But now, converting units is a little bit like long division in the sense that you need to know how it's done. You need to understand it and be able to do it. But in actual practice, in science, most situations you'll be using a computer. Like, for example, you use a calculator to do long divisions or long multiplications. You don't do them by hand as a general rule. Just like that, you do these by hand as a general rule when you're doing science. And when you're doing homework, you can use also the tools that are available to check your work. And like so many things in science, there are things online that will do this for you. You go to any internet browser and say, I want to convert kilometers per minute to meters per second. do a search, and of course now it always throws an AI at you, but there are also simple tools online that convert whatever you want. Convert kilometer to minute to meter to second. You click on it, and we're going to want to convert our numbers, which are 8.864 divided by 0.297 minutes, and it's converting kilometers per minute to our answer, 497.4. In this case, you round it to 3, and you find that, okay, I got the right answer on my homework. On a test, you may not be able to use these things because you will need to demonstrate at some stage or another that you understand how it's done. But then in the actual practice of science, you'll be using the computer tools. So that's all there is to it. Keep in mind what the definition is of the thing that you need to calculate to get the original thing, and then find equivalences between the units, express those in ratios that are equal to 1, and multiply those times the number that you want to convert, and make sure that you keep track of directions and significant figures, and you'll never go wrong.